Daredevil Season 2 finale, A Cold Day in Hell's Kitchen. They basically did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They definitely did decide to kill off Elektra after getting her pretty close to her original costume. The only difference really were that the colors were kind of off because it was mostly black instead of being the whole red. But it had the little skirt in the front. She had the arm I don't. I guess the arm. I guess there's still sleeves. They just aren't attached. So she had the sleeves and everything, but it was just black instead of red. But I thought it looked really cool. And they, by the end, when they put her in the crazy cocoon stone chamber thing, she is in the full red. They put the full red around her. So very excited to see what they're gonna do with that. Of course, I'm sure that'll be season 3. We probably won't get any hints towards any of that stuff. And like anything else, like Jessica Jones or Luke Cage, which Luke Cage, most likely if you saw this, you got the little teaser for Luke Cage as well that kind of played at the end. Or, it was like next in the queue or whatever. So, we might get some stuff about Punisher from that because apparently his story does continue on. So, I'm very excited to see what they do with Punisher, how he fits into kind of the other shows within the universe. So, I'm very excited to see how they play with that one. Not a clue what to expect from this whole little CD that says Micro on it. I'm very excited though. We get to see him with the full outfit and everything. He doesn't show up as much as I would have liked. I thought he was going to show up a lot more and that he would, be a much bigger part of, that end battle. But he does help Matt during like that final moment, and they kind of, they have their moment, and Matt goes all out against Nobu, which was a very awesome scene. And also, he actually has his main weapon now, which is really cool, because he kind of had it because he had the little sticks, but he has his official weapon now, which I thought was really awesome. Melvin kind of was just like, hey, you made this, here you go. So he can separate it and still have the sticks, he can put it together, do his normal thing. He actually uses them in multiple ways. He separates them. We see him, like the very first time he uses them, he shoots it around and it hooks in, and he swings off, which is very cool. Super unrealistic that it somehow came undone because it like hooked in and everything. I was like, whatever, it looked awesome. So I was glad to see that. He was like just shooting it off like a projectile. So very awesome to see the different variations on how he used it. When he was fighting Nobu, he had it, just going all around, like some nunchaku and stuff. So very cool. Definitely appreciated them kind of just throwing it in like, boom, here's this, his actual full-on weapon in the finale. So very nice to see that. I think the next step will probably be season 3. We get like a full red outfit, which I thought we did. When I saw the trailer, I was totally wrong. It was during the scene where it was like a bunch of flashes of him just walking, and I thought he had the full red suit because his helmet was red. So I thought it was like a full red suit, but we still have to wait for that because it's still the black and red. But very cool. Love seeing him get his new weapon. He and Elektra had a really awesome fight scene against all the ninjas and stuff. They have to go and, well, Elektra doesn't really help until like the last minute, so everyone's already safe. But Matt's like, they took all these people that I saved and they're using them as bait to kill me, so that way there's no one to go against them when they try to capture you and do whatever and activate you for however. So he goes in, he helps save all the people and everything, and then they have a pretty cool fight scene. And like Elektra gets pulled through a wall at one point, which I thought was crazy. Like they just burst through the wall and like pull her through. So that was really cool. They have like a good final moment where it's like, even if we survive this, or if we do, we should run away together, basically. So it was interesting. Of course, that doesn't play out because when he's finally about to get killed, she, gets in front of Nobu, and she. It is interesting how they did it because I thought it was going to be like she just jumped in front of him, basically, but she did stop him, but she kind of redirected it, towards herself. So I kind of like the slight variation on how they did it. So that was pretty cool. That whole fight scene was pretty crazy. They were just fighting like a bunch of different people, and then eventually at the end, Matt goes up against Nobu, and when he flipped him off the building, I was like, holy crap, like that was insane. And he's beating him up and stuff, and then he just does the separation with the thing, and that was some crazy wire work because I wasn't expecting him to like fly all the way up in the air like that, but it still worked out really well. It was really cool. And then Stick comes in for like the final kill, and he just stabs him and then decapitates him. So Nobu is officially gone. I thought this before. I was like, he'd make a really cool nemesis because with the whole not being able to die thing, he'd be that villain that despite Kingpin being like the main like Daredevil villain, for the show's purpose, because of course Fisk is still in prison, he's not the kingpin yet. We could still have, we could have like a nemesis currently, and I thought Nobu could have been that character. I was like, that would actually be really cool. He comes back to life. Elektra's dead and everything, so they'd still have what they wanted. They could just wait instead of, even wasting their time fighting. They could just wait, but Stick came in and decapitated him. So I was like, oh well, I guess he's not gonna be like the nemesis for another season or anything like that. But cool character while he lasted. I actually wish he had a little bit more this season, because I felt like, because he was such a big part of the first season. He was like working with Fisk and everything, and then with this, there's obviously so much happening, and even with him being a part of the Hand, Elektra was obviously like the main thing for that. So I do wish he had a little bit more, because I actually like this character a lot. He's obviously a deadly guy, but oh well, villains get killed. That's just how it goes. Sometimes heroes do too, but in this case, I don't know. I guess it depends. I mean, Elektra is one of those characters that always falls in between a little bit, but very excited to see her come back. Very excited to see what they do with Frank and see him. Like I said, I don't know if they're gonna end up doing a Punisher series or what. Which, if they do, that would be so expensive. As far as a blood budget, they would have so much blood all over the place. But regardless of how they do it, I'm very excited to see where they take him. They have all our characters kind of splitting up in this, so Matt, Karen, and Foggy are all kind of going in their separate directions. Foggy, we find out really early on actually, is going to be working with Hogarth from Jessica Jones, so that was cool. It was like, you know, outside of just saying Jessica Jones, they did a full-on tie-in with one of the characters, and they technically did that for Claire, but I feel like Claire's going to be in like all the shows because she was the nurse. Which has changed now, and unfortunately we don't see what happens with her. I thought they'd give us like a little hint, but I'm sure we'll probably end up finding her in Luke Cage show, which apparently premieres in September, so I'm very excited for that. So it's cool that that's already coming up this year. Still quite a while away, but definitely excited for that. But Foggy's going to be working with Hogarth, so I would assume Jessica Jones season 2, we're going to be getting to see a lot of that, a lot of Foggy in Jessica Jones. Possibly even in Luke Cage, depending on how they want to tie that in, because they do it a lot more inside of Jessica Jones, but they talk about how people have superpowers and stuff, and then in Daredevil it's kind of just like it's vigilantes, and then Jessica Jones is like the actual superpowered people. So we'll have to kind of see how all that stuff plays out, but certainly looking forward to seeing season 3 of the show, which I'm assuming will have Elektra as the main story. Like I said, as far as Punisher, I'm very curious how they're going to do his storyline through these different shows. If he'll be a part of each show, or if he will just come back as a Daredevil character. Because Punisher has always been just kind of like all over the place. He's like, he has his own solo thing, but I haven't heard anything just yet about him getting his own show. So he's definitely a character that could easily be in all the shows, because he's always interacting with somebody, especially considering he's always killing people. That tends to get him kind of a big audience with a lot of the heroes who don't tend to kill people off. So they could easily put him into the other shows. I think it would be very interesting if he was in Luke Cage coming up this September, because I think they'd have an interesting kind of way of doing things. And we don't really know exactly what's happening with Luke Cage. The teaser was exactly what it was. It was a teaser. He got shot up. It was like, I'm tired of changing clothes. He threw a guy through a window. Boom, Luke Cage. And it looked just like the Guardians of the Galaxy thing, the way they did it, which I thought was funny. But I think this was a good finale. Matt, at the very end, after they do like the narration and stuff with Karen typing up her article, he finally decides that Karen should know the truth, and he shows her his Daredevil helmet. And I'm assuming they're gonna end up together, or they'll work things out and they'll be together, and he'll be able to explain like, this is why everything's been so crazy, because I'm Daredevil. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing how all that's supposed to play out in season 3, because he mentions how Stick taught him to cut his ties to humanity, separate himself from everyone, and that's not what he wanted. He wanted to be with Elektra, and that didn't work, and seemingly it was kind of just like, well, backup plan. That's kind of how it looked a little bit, but there had been quite a bit of time that passed. At least it seemed like it, because when they ended it, it was like, hey, it's Christmas Eve and stuff like that. So, they seemingly there was a little bit of time. I mean, I would assume it's only been like a week, because You're supposed to bury people at least within a week, because then things get kind of little, messy. But he decides to tell her the truth at the very end, and we'll just have to wait and see, because it was just like shock all over her face, and then it fades from that, and then we get to see that they dug up Elektra at the end as well, which I knew was coming. I was like, they're gonna bring her back. Something's gonna happen, because especially when she died, I was like, yep, they're definitely doing that where she dies and they bring her back, because that's pretty much like her big thing, is that she died and then came back, and now she's just kind of a staple character. So definitely looking forward to season 3 and what they're gonna be doing with Elektra. Whatever we're gonna be getting from this micro thing, I can't even begin to like guess what it's gonna be, because it's not gonna be a random list, because this was clearly there long before the stuff with Frank's family. So it's like, it just says micro. It doesn't say like a person's name or anything. It could almost mean anything. Like, so I just don't know. Anything small, I guess. But I don't know how they're gonna play that. But I'm very excited to see it. We need way more of him, of course, because we got one episode of him with the actual vest on with the skull and everything. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a lot more of the Punisher wherever he ends up showing up next. But love the way that they did this season. Definitely a fun season for me. Really loved how they got much, much darker. We got to see a ton of characters I wasn't expecting from the first season. Mostly two characters I wasn't expecting. That was Nobu, who should have been dead, and then Madame Gao, who apparently just never left. So very curious how that's going to play out, because of course if Fisk, I think once Fisk comes out as Kingpin, I think Madame Gao will kind of step things up again and make herself known, because they were working together, but he got busted and she took off. And then we have this stuff where he's looking into Matt, and he kind of wants to take him down. Like he says, like, once I get out, I'm taking you down and I'm taking Nelson down. It's both of you, so you're both gonna suffer. So we'll see what happens. I doubt they'll kill off Foggy. I highly doubt they'll do that, but who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. But definitely a great season finale. Action, of course, was very well done. Only thing I do wish, honestly, was that we got to see a bit more of Frank, because we got like the one shot of him at the end, and I kind of wish that he could have come in and helped a little bit more against the ninjas. Even if he wasn't like fighting, if it was more of him just shooting from far away or something. Of course, because if he was fighting ninjas, I don't think that would have really worked for him. Good fighter, but I don't think he'd be taking on ninjas. Um, but other than that, I think they did a really good job. We got to see where everybody's gonna end up, except for Matt. Really, we still don't really know where he's going as a character. But Foggy, of course, got hired by Hogarth. Karen is going to be working for the newspaper now, and then Matt is going to be Daredevil, but he's got to have some job to actually make money. So once again, we'll just have to wait and see. But I certainly enjoyed this finale. Definitely a great season, much darker than the first season, but it kind of needed to be. When you have Punisher, it definitely had some amazing action scenes, like the two that really stick out. Of course, episode 3, the whole, like, just the apartment thing going down the stairwell, all that was crazy. And then I want to say it was episode 6 or 7, whenever Frank was in prison and he fought all those guys and killed them all off. Those two are like the big ones that stick out, because that was like his really big moment that they had, because all his fight scenes against Matt were kind of like, here's them fighting. It was kind of a sort of a static thing, and then other stuff tended to be happening around them. And if not, like their very first fight from episode 1, it was still a good fight, but it was just the two of them. But he got like his own like full on Punisher battle where he was flat out killing every single person coming at him. Even when he actually got stabbed in the arm, he just takes that out. He just killed every single person. Went in with a full white suit too. It was basically perfect. He had like a couple of spots of blood on him because he stabbed the one guy, and then it's like Kingpin tried to wipe him out, and he took down everybody. So those two scenes definitely stand out as my favorite action scenes. But definitely a great season. Very excited to see where they're taking it. Of course, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this finale. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, least favorite parts, and with the way that they ended everything, of course, specifically with our two new hero characters with Elektra and Punisher, definitely want to know where you guys think they'll be taking those two characters. Like, the micro thing, I don't know, that could be like a sliver of something that's pulled straight from the comic. So if you guys know, definitely fill me in, because I'd love to have a little bit of insight on what's coming. If you guys have any speculations, if you don't know from the comics like me, I just assume, you know, the very obvious thing, somebody's going to be getting killed. So I'm okay with that. I'm looking forward to that. As far as Elektra, I believe her thing is that she comes back evil. I don't know that 100%. It kind of, I think it depends on kind of how they want to do it. But either way, definitely excited for both. Really love this season. Like I said, want to know your speculations for, you know, how they're going to expand on Punisher and Elektra. And of course, what you guys thought about the season as a general, or season as a general, season in general. How does it hold up as far as the second season to, you know, the very first season? Do you like the first one better, this one better? For me personally, I think this was definitely a better season. I really loved season one, but this one kind of, it definitely blew it out of the water despite everything they had in it. And that was the one thing I was worried about. Everything kind of just tied together perfectly. It was like everything got just the right amount of time. It was like, yep, that ninjas, Elektra, Punisher, a whole Punisher case. Kingpin was in there still. Madame Gao's still alive. Nobu's still alive. Well, Nobu's still alive. Madame Gao's just still in town. But I think they did a great job with this season. Definitely looking forward to Luke Cage. Can't wait for season 3 of this show. Curious what they're going to be doing with Jessica Jones season 2 as well. But like I said, I want to know what you guys are expecting from Punisher and Elektra, and what you guys thought about this, you know, finale and the season in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.